So you're looking for a digital marketing service in Toronto, or any other major city for that matter. My name is Paul Tobey from Training Business Pros. And if you're looking for a digital marketing service, then you're going to need to speak the language that they speak a little bit. And I'm going to help you with 5 categories and topics that you need to pay attention to in order to have a quality discussion with that potential digital marketing agency. Because if you don't ask for certain things, then they may not volunteer those things. And you need information. And the best information you're going to get is from these 5 things that I'm going to share with you. Stick around to the end because the last one is super important for you to get what you actually want. What do you want? You want more business, and that question is really going to help you get it. So no matter where you are and you need a digital marketing agency, you're going to want to pay attention to these 5 things. We're going to get started right after this. Okay, so whether you need a digital marketing service in Toronto, in Chicago, in LA, wherever you need it, and you are concerned about hiring a company to help you, and if they're actually going to help you and how much it's going to cost, then you need to pay attention to this video. Stick around to the end because, again, the last question that I have is super important. All right, let's dive in. I've got 5 topics that I want to cover, and let's get through them. We got about 8 minutes to get this finished. All right, so stick around. Number 1, first thing you're going to do is when you find a company, whether you found them in a search or whether you found them through a referral or whatever, you're going to do 2 things. 1, you're going to Google their business, and you're going to Google the company owners. Why do that? Because you want to look for a track record. How long have they been around? Have they been around as long as you need to be to understand how to help other companies? Do they have a track record of goodwill? Or do they have a bunch of things on Better Business Bureau website that aren't so good? So you really want to spend your time Googling, because if they're digital marketers, then they should have a footprint. For example, if you Google Training Business Pros or you Google Paul Tobey, you're going to find an awesome trail of goodwill. I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm saying this to impress upon you that no matter what company you work with, you're going to have to do your research. And Google is a great place to start. Again, if they're digital marketers, they should understand that game. And if they can't be found or they don't have a track record and a footprint, then maybe you should move on to the next company. All right, number 2. Ask them, what is your best traffic acquisition strategy and results? So that's 2 things. So what is their strategy for traffic acquisition? You know, a lot of people talk a lot about SEO, search engine optimization. They talk about search engine marketing. They talk about social media. They talk about video marketing. Whatever they're talking about, that's great. Hear them out. Say, what is your traffic strategy? Because marketing is figuring out ways to expose you to new audiences. If they're just going to throw up a website and expect people to show up, that's not going to work. You need a strategy for traffic acquisition. That's the whole point of marketing, finding more people. And so ask them what their strategy is. Personally, I think it could be any of the ones that I mentioned. My strategies have gone back since 2004 when we started our digital marketing agency. We got a very good reputation for search engine optimization, and we've helped a lot of companies with that. But it's getting harder and harder. So what is the current traffic acquisition strategy that you want your companies that you're interviewing to share with you? And if they're going to share those strategies with you, what are the actual results? So take a look. Google something that they tell you to Google. Did they show up in the 1, 2, or 3 listings on Google? Did they show up in Google Places, in Google Maps, wherever? If they just tell you what they're going to do and they don't actually show you that they've done it before, then again, maybe that's a conversation you need to start having with a different company. Actually, you're going to love this next one because it's literally speaking their language, and they're going to be so impressed by this. Say, what is your UI and UX approach? And they're like, oh, okay, our UI approach is this. Well, what is UI? It's user interface. That means that if you're going to build something for them, How do people find their way around that website, for example? Or if you're going to build up an app, how do people find their way around that app? What is the user interface? Show me an example of how you get people from where they are, homepage, for example, to the page on this particular service, and how do you collect their contact data? What is your strategy for that? And then UX means user experience. What is the actual experience that the customer or potential client has on your website, app, video, whatever? That's important because their experience will dictate how long they stick around, how much they read, how much they consume, how much they interact. One of the most important things, especially if you're talking search engine optimization. So user experience, user interface, ask them that. And they'll be impressed by you when you ask. All right, number 4. Here's a good one. What CRM do you recommend and how can it help us? So if you've never heard the term CRM before, it's customer relationship management. But there's different types of CRMs. There's CRMs that put information into a database and you have to check that database and times and whatever and follow up with people manually. But then there's CRM automation or marketing automation and sales automation. And that's what you're looking for. And if they don't really understand that language, then you need to find somebody else, because I can tell you, you can generate all the traffic in the world you want, but if you can't get people or your system to follow up, then you're going to miss a lot of business, because customer relationship management is all about the follow-up. So how do you automate that? How do you use software to do that? And what's your current software choices? Do you use third-party CRMs or do you use WordPress-based CRMs? Which one and why? And how's your relationship with those companies? Are you a certified partner? Do you understand that, or are you just winging it to get the business? In my business, I can tell you that the CRM is probably the biggest focus for my clients, because we generate a lot of traffic, but we can't do much with traffic unless we get a conversation. How do we automate that process? Get them into a Zoom meeting, get them into a face-to-face meeting, get them into a consult, and provide quotes. That whole process needs to be automated, otherwise you're going to miss out on a lot of business. So yeah, you can talk traffic acquisition, you can talk website strategies and UX and UI, but the most important part, follow up, follow up, follow up. All right, now we come to the last one. I saved the best for last. This question is the most important question that you can ask any digital marketing agency, and here it is. What else can you help us do to bring in more business? Not how do you build websites and how pretty are they? Not how much traffic can you generate? Not, what's your best CRM? All those are great, but the best one is, how can you help us bring in more business? And have you helped other businesses like ours bring in more business? And if so, how much? And can I talk to those people? And if they say, well, we've done something like that before and we've helped companies sort of like that, and no, my customers want to remain incognito and private. I'm like, no, wrong answer. You want to talk to them. And I can tell you, I do this very willingly in my company. It's like, here are 5 names of people that you can talk to. These are 5 businesses. They're small businesses. They're very much like yours. They do a little bit different things, but if you're a doctor, you want to talk to these doctors. If you're a dentist, you want to talk to these dentists. If you're an event rental company, you want to talk to these event rental companies. So, and you got to work with people with experience, because in this game, if you don't have experience, you're going to spend money and you're going to get buried, because the competition is massive online. Don't kid yourself. If you think that most businesses are sitting around on their laurels thinking that, oh, well, let's throw up a website and we're going to get some business, that's not the way it works at all. It is a strategy. It is an ongoing strategy, and it will likely cost you a little bit of money and sometimes more, and you got to have a budget. And if you're not prepared for that, then stay out of the digital marketing game, because if you're not prepared to invest in your company, then digital marketing is not the place to be spending $50. Let me tell you that. My name is Paul Tobey from Training Business Pros. Thanks for your time. Thanks so much for watching. It's Paul Tobey here. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. When you do, it lets us know your level of interest and will help us create more content just like this for you and other people just like you. If you have any questions or comments about the content, please post them below and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for your time.